Thankful to be here. Today we're going to talk about how to create from a flow state. Better way to put it is how to just like every time you step up to the microphone to create music, you trust yourself. You trust what you're singing, what you're feeling, and you allow yourself to create from a place of authenticity. And when you know how to get into that place creatively, you'll know how to tap into that space consistently. Once you know that feeling and you know like what you do best and you put yourself in that position to do that, that's really like one of the like main understandings as an artist, as a musician for sure. Because being able to create music from a place of consistent authenticity and being able to go into the studio and step out of the studio with music that you can really be proud of, that comes from like practice, a professional practice. And the professional practice within it all is the understanding that no matter what, you show up and you create that day. It's the difference between an amateur artist, painter, and a professional painter. You show up to the plate and you create, and you're not the person who is allowing their feelings to dictate their consistency and the discipline that they set out to 100% stick to. And so I recognize that making music and art is a lot 100% like that. Like, I've been a painter, been someone who drew, wrote things, and like I recognize that music is the same way. Like, if you really want to get better at writing songs and if you want to be that person who never has writer's block, you gotta just like look at it as a profession, a livelihood, what you do every day. You know, no matter what you feel like, even if you feel like you gotta like look at it like you gotta push yourself to write a song every day. You gotta get into the zone. You know what I'm saying? And I think sometimes in life, like, we have different schedules and everything like that. But there's ways to like make it a priority, make it a moment in life. You know what I'm saying? Where you just really can knock out a lot of songs and you can really create your best. And then honestly, one of the main keys that I realized being an artist is knowing how to get into the flow state and then knowing how that feels, and then consistently doing that so much that it becomes like a muscle mindset. And then you just can go into the studio or sit down and you can always write something because you train yourself to not overthink things. Like, one of the ways that I train myself to not overthink my songwriting, excuse me, I got something in my teeth. One of the ways that I became more fluent with my writing, my songwriting, is because I remember like I started painting. I picked up painting because I was so adamant about learning how to be an artist, and I'm like still in that zone. But what I did was I would wake up every day and I would not force myself, but I would just set a timer and I'd grab paint and I would automatically just paint like for 5 minutes, really fast, abstract paintings. Just like, I wouldn't even like think twice. I would allow myself to paint anything that I can come up with. Actually, I can show you actually some of my paintings if you want to see. And the reason why, I'll tell you why I did this. And the reason why, can I flip the screen? Yeah, I can. I started making these paintings every day. And the reason why I started making these paintings every day was to train myself to just create and not try to be perfect. That's why they look the way they look. And I'll relate this to songwriting in a second. So I would do this every day, and I still do this. I make these paintings. See how they look? I would just wouldn't. And the way that I would make them is I wouldn't care about what I was making. Like I didn't. I like allowed myself to make. I don't know. It's like, I don't think it's bad art, but I would just like throw paint at the wall, and I would be comfortable with letting the paint land. You know what I'm saying? And so how I relate that to songwriting is, you know, the more I did that, the more I looked at my vocals that way and the words that I use and the melodies, and to not. You know what it is? It's not put the piece of paper on a or here it is. It's not put the piece. Do not put the piece of paper on a pedestal. Don't put the piece of paper on a pedestal. Throw the paint on the wall. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with the beat. Same thing with the beat. Don't put the beat on a pedestal. Don't make it the end all be all. Write something to it and do your best. Keep trying. Depending on, you know, some songs have different demands, but like I'm talking about just when you're in the thick of being a songwriter, you know, being somebody who look at the art as, you know, look at the art as something you do and you live, and don't look at your songs like you don't put so much pressure on yourself. Essentially, take the pressure off yourself and allow yourself to write, even if the writing isn't as good as you think it could be. I think sometimes that stops a lot of artists is that they don't think they're that good, and so they'll stop. They won't push themselves to write the full song. And I think the one thing that I've learned as an artist is that it's almost impossible to be bad at art, even though you can be bad at art, and even the worst art in the world has a fan out there. Someone would be your fan. Let's say you all you knew how to draw was stick figures, but you drew like 10,000 stick figures, and you had 10,000 stick figure drawings. You know what I mean? And they were on sale. Somebody would buy that. Somebody would buy that. Someone would be a fan of whatever you drew, no matter how bad it was, no matter how bad you are at anything. If you have volumes of it, someone will be a fan of it. So the point is like when you write songs, it's not saying your music isn't good from that perspective of no matter what, someone in the world will be a fan of it. It's the perspective of that no matter what you're creating, finish what you start when you're creating it. Allow yourself to write it. Allow yourself to write a bad song, because the bad song gets you to the good songs. Instead of trying to write a good song, just write a song. And then write another song, or write another song. And I feel like the moment I let go of trying to write good music, I started writing good music. Like I started, and if it wasn't good, I didn't give a fuck. I was like, all right, pull another beat up. You know what I mean? Like, all right, pull another chord progression. Let's try something different. And like, it's like, that's what I always recognized. I let go. I stopped trying to be perfect. I started allowing myself to just be as good as it is right there. You know what I mean? And not from the perspective of not pushing myself, but from the perspective of get the song finished. You know what I mean? I think a lot of times when we write songs, like I feel like for me, I've noticed for me, I like to write simple songs, but I'm also into like Kanye West type of like how he warps music. He really takes it and like it's like a clay. It's like a block of clay, and they're molding like a piece of art. Even if it's a club song, it's like really, they're not like, they look at the music like art sometimes. Like I can hear it in the music, like the string sections and how the songs change and the type of samples. Like there's some like real artistic perspectives going into the creativity behind it all. But at the same time, I think that when we're in our home studios and we're writing music, I think the problem that a lot of artists struggle with is writer's block. They don't know how to get the songs out. They don't know how to write their songs. And like this pain is like so annoying because it's like maybe your whole dream is to be a famous artist, but you suck at writing songs. That sucks. You know what I mean? So like you want to get better. You know, I can understand that. I've been in that scenario. It's something, it's more like, so for me, I always felt like I had something I needed to say, I could say on a record or in music, and I knew I had dope taste. and cool ideas. I just felt like at some point I struggled with getting the words out. You know what I mean? But I knew I could do it. And so I always felt like I needed help with that. But like I practiced. And I taught myself how to just write music. I just taught myself how to write music, and I taught myself going through putting myself through actual exercises. Like, 'cause I would write so much. You know what I mean? It's like very easy for me to write songs now. And I don't really worry about it because I realize that songs write themselves and they build upon themselves, and you don't need to finish a full song perfect in like 5 minutes. But you can write perfect songs, like really good songs, and there's certain methods you could use to speed up your songwriting process. Like I would like set a timer, like, all right, how fast can I write this song? Can I write a song in 20 minutes? 10 minutes? 5 minutes? And I know that sounds crazy. It sounds like, why would you like, you're not putting any thought into the music. It's not saying to do that all the time. It's just training my brain to allow myself to just write and to turn off the thinking mind and turn on the attack the hoop mind. That's what it is, bro. It's like you got the ball in your hand and you're shooting your shot. You know what I mean? It's like it's training yourself to be in that mode and knowing how to turn that switch on. Knowing how to turn that switch on as an artist. And I think that the best artists that do that are like, we have like Juice WRLD and the NBA YoungBoy. You know, like in this new era, those are the artists that have I would say that is one of the prerequisites to being like a successful music artist, is by having that ability to be able to just get on the mic and write and produce a catalog. If you can create catalog, pull beats off the internet, write a full song, pull another beat, write a full song. So like that's like one part of the vehicle you need to get you to like, I would say like being a legitimate artist in the music industry. That's one of the vehicles for sure, that skill set. You know, it's like anything. You gotta be able to sell a product. You know what I mean? You have products. And so like music isn't really it is, in some ways it could be a product, but when it's being made, like the truth is the truth. And if the people ain't buying it, then it ain't the truth, if that's what you promise as a brand. You know what I'm saying? So if you stick to being the truth in the beginning, it doesn't matter if you crank out a lot of music. As long as you're keeping it real with that promise, the people are gonna like buy into it. And it's not gonna feel like some factory produced shit. As long as you keep it real like that. That's how I look at it. It's like I can make a lot of songs for real. Like I feel like I have an infinite abundance. I feel like when you pull up a batch of beats, I could just write songs and write them. And I don't even think about it, because I don't think about trying to write every song to be a hit. And I don't think every song needs to be the best song in the world. And a lot of times, for me, it's about like getting better each song, each point of the night, just by just pulling beats up, freestyling. I like the freestyle approach. I used to write a lot. I used to sit down and really write like all the time. And I think that that's helped me. So like another thing that helped me, so like really a lot of the freestyle approach, like there's a trillion ways to write a song. And whatever way you create your product, your music, your finished product, your song. You know what I mean? How, you know, it's like sitting under the blanket. Like you pull it off and it's like a brand new, like, you know what I'm saying? Like an inventor showing off a marble painting or something, sculpture or something. Like whatever you do to get that result, I think that's kind of like one of the things, it's all that matters. But it's like, I think that the number one thing to remember is turning off that judgment filter in your mind of like who you are as a person, and like allowing yourself to be free. It's like some deeper level connections. It's some deeper level connections. Happy birthday. Happy big birthday. Live it up. Live it up. There you go. Like, music is so important to the world. I feel like we don't even realize, like, I was at the doctor's office today, just getting a little checkup. And you know what? It's like the music in there was like bumping. I was like, damn, like this is dope ass music. It was Drake. Drake was playing the whole time. And I was listening to him and I was like, you know what? Drake is just really good at consistently making good music. You know what I mean? And it's like, I believe that, like, that's why I know as an artist, for me, I know for a fact when I really in a good place in my life, I know that for a fact I can what an artist needs. And I know for a fact for myself, as an artist, I'm gonna have a real career in the music industry, like successful. And I know because I have built up the necessary tools for longevity. And I've studied the game. And one thing I recognize is, like, you know, having your unique sound and knowing your audience and your target marketing and, you know, where you sound your strengths are at, and knowing how to create a brand, like really knowing how to look at yourself three-dimensional and know how to produce music that's consistently good. I feel like if you stay consistent with that, there's no way you can lose. If you stay good with good business and you build a team and you turn it into a business, it's like not rocket science. It's like there's so many ways to be financially abundant. And I just believe that, like, when you're a songwriter, you know, that can be a difficult and daunting task when you're a musician and you feel like you can't get any of the words out. And you got to learn how to train yourself to just be okay with not always saying the right thing and not always making what you're creating the best thing. Allow yourself to write something bad in order to write something good. Like, I'll write bad if I'm not feeling it, but I know I need to be creating so that I can stay good. I will write bad music on purpose, even in my mind, if I know it's bad, and I will never share it with anybody. Because I'll write a bad song and be like, oh, whatever, keep going. I'll go in 2 to 3 minutes, just keep writing it, and then I write the next one, and then I write another one, and the next one will be like, not that good. Then I write the third one. I'm like, all right, I like this beat. This kind of beat's dope. All right, I got to bounce to it. And that'll all be within the span of like an hour. And I'm like, damn, see, like in the past, for me to write a song, like I would sit there forever trying to write. Because I'd put too much emphasis on the perfection of it. And I feel like, you know, I came from a different school of like how the music was made. Like, music now is more punched in, like where you just press record and you go line at a time. And I think that is really beneficial because for me, it helped me free myself from needing to write like the perfect script, because the rap can feel like a script when it's scripted, like bar for bar, and you're reading it. Sometimes that works though. It all depends. But I think that the number one idea of it all is like getting your idea across. I think the point what I'm making is being able to consistently get your ideas across creatively. Whether you're a songwriter, whether you write books, whether you're a rapper, whether you're a painter, you know, whether you play the violin, you know, it's all about freeing your mind from gatekeeping your own ideas. That's a bar right there. Free yourself. Liberate yourself from gatekeeping your own ideas. Stop holding yourself back. You know what I mean? And allow yourself to create. And allow yourself to write a bad song. Allow yourself not always to be perfect. Say the right thing. You know, it kind of translates. You know, I noticed that maybe when I was so focused on being perfect, I feel like I just feel like I couldn't take a deep breath. You know what I mean? I feel like everything is so like too much. I was too attached to everything. I think the more I've been able to let go, I feel like it affects other areas in my life. I feel more loose with it. You know what I mean? Don't feel so uptight. You know, and I recognize when I write music, I just notice that like wherever it's going, it's going. You could pull up a country beat, bro. I write a country song. Let's go. Pull up a rock song. I write a rock song. Pull up a trap song. I write a trap song. I'll go wherever the wind blows me. You know what I'm saying? Pause. No, for real though. I'm going because it's like if I'm feeling like this, I'll write about that. You know what I'm saying? I feel like, and I recognize that if I could like really go back to when I really first started writing music, I feel like that's one thing I feel like I had to learn kind of like through my own, it was like a life lesson. Like a life was like, it's like Kobe Bryant playing basketball. Like every day, like basketball is teaching him about life. There's life lessons in playing basketball. Like so many life lessons. And so like being a writer as a musician, a songwriter, the process of writing, it's like ping-ponging with life. You know what I mean? It's ping-ponging with life. And so as an artist, recognizing that, I think the number one thing like to be a great artist for me, like I can easily turn that switch on more and more, is especially when I'm around more people that are artists, getting around more people. But I would say is like, you know, whatever your medium is, you could play the cello, you could be a comedian, you could be a painter, you could be a rapper, you could be I don't know, a draw, you know, you could draw things, do anything. You can create so many things. You know, the real truth is learning how to stand in front of your instrument and create without judging yourself and allowing yourself to just create. Allowing yourself to just create and don't judge. The less you judge, the more you let it happen. You know what I'm saying? The more you let it create for itself, and you recognize that it's a lot easier to like produce your music and produce whatever it is you produce, whatever it is you make. It makes it so much easier. You know, thinking less and allowing yourself to create and allowing yourself to recognize that you get more at bats. Sometimes when we write a song, it's like we think we have to hit a home run every time you write. And I don't think that's the case. Because if you had a home run every time, then a home run wouldn't feel special. A hit song wouldn't feel special if every song was a hit. So it's like some songs you write are not always going to be like slappers that everybody loves, but you like it because it's you. So, you know, just write. And you may every fourth song you write be like really, really good. Like so good where it's not like, not just you like it, but, you know, crowds of people would like it and enjoy it. And I think that that's really what it's about. And knowing how to create and produce on a consistent basis and release music. That's my next mission, my next goal really. And it's like already completed in my mind. Like in my mind, I've already successfully put myself in the position to be able to mix and like take photos and shoot music videos and release music on a consistent basis. You know what I'm saying? And be like, have a show, like a content, having a platform, building a platform through consistency of you know what I mean? And getting better and better at delivering that. How's it going? Oh shit. Oh shoot. That was good though. Ooh, I needed that water. Maybe I should turn some more lights on. So I'm talking about songwriting, creativity, being an artist, and allowing yourself to create and never having writer's block again. So a lot of artists struggle with writer's block. I gotta pull the diamonds out. Hold up. A lot of artists struggle with writer's block. They struggle with creativity because, you know, they want to be perfect all the time. And this perfection kind of like puts the song on a pedestal. You know what I mean? It puts the piece of paper or the canvas on a pedestal as if you only had one canvas. You know what I mean? It's like you have to make this the best it can be. But I believe that, when you're an artist, you realize you have more than one opportunity to produce a good result. You know what I'm saying? And like, you're not preparing for an audition with Usher. You know what I'm saying? When you're in your studio, like, don't put yourself with that much. Don't put pressure on yourself like that. Create and produce, because when you take away that pressure, you can just produce from an authentic, real place of not needing to impress, but needing to express. You want to express how you feel. And when you do that, and you do that consistently, you start to recognize how it feels to be in that state of emotion. And being in that state of emotion allows you to consistently, just like, if someone pulls up a canvas, you can paint. A piece of paper, you can write. A beat, you can sing. You can record. You can create music. And you're an artist. And like, you get into a flow state. And I believe, like, for me, a flow state is just like, it's almost like in my mind where the gates of my mind are like limitations. And it's like I have the gatekeepers of my mind have opened up all the gates. And it's not like saying you're open-minded to anything. It's just saying that, like, it's just like you kind of like can see things happening before they happen, and you just kind of always know how to respond, and it's just a certain like beingness that happens when you're in the flow state. And when you start writing songs, you're not judging every line. Like, you're not judging yourself, and you're allowing yourself to just express yourself at the highest ability. And I taught myself how to do that, doing actionable items. Like, what I started doing was, from a book called The Artist Way, and they help writers with this rewiring of the mind of like opening those channels in your brain to be able to express yourself. And one of those things is by free writing every day, first thing in the morning, 3 pages, which is a lot of pages. You know what I mean? I recommend just, if you can get to 1 a day, boom. But I started doing those free writings every single day. And the way I would write it was, I'd be like, I'm writing, today's another day, dolphin, eating pancakes. It's about to be the most beautiful day, cell phone in my hand in Miami. Had a quarterback, chicken waffle, supercar outside. I was just random words. I did, and I would write for like 20 minutes, you know what I mean? And sometimes it would make sense. A lot of times I would just jump around. And I noticed that as I was doing that every day, I got really good at just like throwing spaghetti at the wall, throwing words at the piece of paper and not caring if it was perfect. And reading back and being like, this doesn't make any sense, but it's kind of cool. It sounds kind of creative, but in like a weird way, like abstract writing. And then like, I related that to painting. I was like, I wonder if like every day I woke up and I just painted a painting. And that's what I started doing. I started painting it. I'll show you the paintings. But these paintings, I wasn't painting with the intention of being a good painter. I was painting with the intention of allowing myself to let the words flow. Or not flow, the words, the paint. So, letting the paint flow out. When you let the paint flow and you let yourself to just create, you may create, like you could create art that I would share this art with the world, like on some realness. But like, I didn't make this art with the intentions of being an artist from a painter's perspective, but it can, which is really cool. But I created this art to train myself to not care about making a perfect piece of art and take the canvas off the pedestal. And so when I go into the studio to write a song, I don't think that I need to be perfect. You know what I mean? I allow myself to just get the words out, get music out, write on that piece of paper. And I recognize that I don't hold myself back as a writer anymore. And I recognize that like if you ever struggling with writer's block, that's the reason why, is because you're judging everything you're doing and you're putting it on a pedestal, expecting yourself to sound as good as Drake. I used to like be so mad and be like, man, why can't I sound as good as Drake? Like if it wasn't as good as Drake, I just didn't feel like I just wasn't good enough. I think that's kind of crazy to think about, but I know I'm not the only artist in the music industry who feels like that. But I feel like that's dope because that's setting a standard. You know what I mean? Setting the bar really high, looking at artists that you really love, and setting a standard. You know what I'm saying? And seeking to exceed that standard. You know what I mean? I think that's what it's about. And so, like as an artist, the best thing you could do is learn how to trust yourself and allow yourself to create. And I'll do a thing where I'll do this thing. That's what you could do. It's called the bad song method. This is not what you normally want to do all the time. But if you're struggling to write a song, write a bad song on purpose and call the song, this is a bad song. And sing about why this is a bad song. And just write it. You know what I mean? And you'll laugh your way through it and it'll be a joke. And what'll happen is you'll finish a song and you'll be like, oh. And if you don't have an idea that's good, keep just writing bad music. You don't have to sing bad. Just write songs that you know you would never share with somebody. Because it's so simple, and make it easy. Don't even think about it. If you can't even come up with words, say random like scatting melodies. Don't even, you know what I mean? But allow yourself to do that. And once you do that, you'll get so much better as an artist, as a songwriter, because then you'll do it again. You'll just kind of naturally be in that state of having fun and not caring about being good or bad. And that's where the music becomes authentic. And then you make something and you're like, oh, this sounds pretty good. This is actually good. And then you can finish it because you're already in the flow state of finishing songs. It's just like, it's not that hard to do it. Like, I like when I'm in like a real recording state of like lifestyle where every day I'm making music, every day, like I know how to get into the groove of being a writer. You know what I'm saying? And like, I feel like that's where I'm pushing myself to go from amateur to professional. Somebody who can just produce what they do on a consistent basis. That's what made Picasso great. Picasso was great because he could just like, he got so good that even if he painted something for 5 minutes, 1 second, it was automatically like gold because it's a Picasso. It's kind of ridiculous. I don't know if music has that same level of, I don't know what that word is called, luxury. I don't think you can just get away with that all the time in music. You gotta make some music that bumps. People want to bump to your music. You know what I mean? But there is like a space where I think it comes down to a point where when you're a songwriter, it's about being able to produce a catalog. Even in this day and age, if anything that you do with any form of creativity, whether you're a videographer, content creator, singer, rapper, podcaster, comedian, it's all about, can you consistently produce a good result within it? You know what I mean? Like even the Drake just consistently makes good music. Boom. How hard is that? And then he has the marketing to market it. And has his business in order. It's kind of it's all kind of simple. You know what I'm saying? Having the systems to be able to do that, you know, you have to have certain things in order. But when you really look at how it's all put together, it's just like any other artist. Most artists that are all successful on social media, they built a following on YouTube. They have a following, and they consistently deliver to that following. And so to be a good artist, songwriter, really, it comes down to where you are proficient as a writer, as a creator, where you can, you know, always write and create songs, and then get dialed in on your own authentic sound, and then being able to produce your own authentic sound like at a whim and consistently just make music and build a catalog around that. Once you can do that, like the sky's the limit at that point, because you can as long as you have content, music, and you have and it's quality, and you're getting better, and you're dialed into what the audience. You got to give the audience what they want at some point. You know what I mean? I think it's a given. It's a win-win situation. You give the audience what they want, you get what you want out of the creativity of the art. And I think that's the game. You know what I mean? It's finding a balance. You know. But this has been a good talk. We'll talk more, ladies and gentlemen. Until next time.